Test, test. Test, test. Test, test. There we are.
Mic test. Hello. How are we sounding?
Okay, so I'm on 3, looks like.
Yep.
Okay. leave the microphone on, so all you gotta do is press the mute. That's good.
Good morning, roller derby fans. We've got about 6.5 minutes till derby time. Want to take a quick shout out for our sponsors, the Pie Pizzeria, which has been sponsoring roller derby in Salt Lake City for a long time. Amazing pizza. You should eat some of it. We got 187 Killer Pads, Derby Warehouse, and Dick's Sporting Goods. Thanks to our sponsors, and thank you all for coming out to watch the second day of our tournament.
No, you got 2 30-minute halves. Sorry, Crimson. All right, I'm gonna do my little thank you here right now, and then I'll do the intro after when we're ready for that. What you said? All right, it's been Andy here from Denver, Colorado. We want to thank the Denver team. Would like to thank Wasatch here. This is my sixth time visiting Wasatch for my players' games here. We want to thank you and the Derby Depot for hosting us all these years. Until data's ready, and of course I need. Roller derby friends, families, and fans. Captain Cotton has turned on the fasten your seatbelt sign, so please put your tray tables and seats in their full upright and locked position, because we are about to experience Denver's major turbulence. We have got number 02, Rainbow Bomber, number 10, Sid Vicious, number 11, Painbow, number 1111, Jasmanian Devil, number 171, Hello Hitty, number 181, Darth Skater, number 22, Cat Atomic Bomb, number 23, Belladonna, and number 29, Hella Destroyer, number 31, Trick or Treat, number 365, Phoenix, number 44, Mars Bars, number 616, El Diablo, number 811, Cottonmouth, and number 88, Trek Mamba, coached by Luna, Shibi, and Smash.
And for Wasatch, wearing the white jerseys, we got numbers 24 Zen, 101 Bad Cop, 11 Fast Phantom, 115 Chameleon, 138 Crimson Slayer, 142 Mockingbird, number 2 Echo, 2014 Circus, 23 Brawley Pop, 2319 Rollerena, 24 Boopiter, 32 Acid Rain, 322 Loach, 789 Stormy Sea, 813 Mullet, 84 Chemical X, and 919 Feline Feisty.
All right, we are just seconds away now from getting our first game of the day underway. Right now we have Chameleon out there with the star for Wasatch, Darth Skater in blue for Denver as their jammer. Officials all gathered together, making sure everything's ready to go. And with that cheer, we are going to be underway. All right, rolling whistle. We are about to get started. Once again, Chameleon in white going against Darth Skater in blue for Denver. Darth Skater starting right up at the line. It is Chameleon with a burst of speed to take lead. Darth Skater right behind. Fast feet overtakes Chameleon. Chameleon does have lead. Both teams racing around the track now. And that one is going to get called off with a 0-0 score.
Queuing up to jam for Wasatch is Mullet. And for Denver, we've got Jasmanian Devil. There's the whistle. Off they go. Jasmanian Devil breaks through the crowd of jammers and takes the lead jammer position. And Mullet crashes up against that last defender and slips around the outside. Both jammers are on scoring passes now. Jasmanian Devil coming on the inside, smashes through the middle around the last defender for Wasatch and calls off the jam. Quick 4 points for Denver.
Right.
And holding Wasatch at 0.
Yeah, 2 quick jams right in a row here. And now in white is Zen for Wasatch. Got number 10 out there for Denver. That is Sid Vicious. Wasatch opting to start right up at that jam line, but now Denver's coming back. Looks like we do have one player in the box for Denver. It's a slight advantage to Wasatch here. but both jammers being held to no. There's going to be a power jam now. That is advantage Wasatch. Zen is through for lead. It was a nice 30 seconds to do some damage here. It's like charging, but a great block by the Denver pivot. Halts that momentum by Zen. Zen charging through, knocked out on the outside. A really good penalty kill by the Denver defenders. And that Denver Jammers back out. Sid Vicious back out. Through the pack, just taking a tumble with bad cop, but back on their feet.
Zen still trapped behind those blockers.
Calls that one off with 3 points, though, for Zen. So we got ourselves a 1-point game.
Roll Arena's stepping up to jam for Wasatch, and Mamba looks like for Denver. Track Mamba. And the defenders slowly settle in closer to the jam line. Off they go. Reina smashes into the wall. Got a tumble down there in the middle. Everyone's back up on their feet. And still fighting to get past the defenders. Mamba's pushing hard down to the last defender for Wasatch. Mamba made it. Mamba's the lead jammer. Reina's still stuck behind those defenders, but now she's made it. So both jammers are going to be on a scoring pass. And the pack is on the move a little bit, making some space for Mamba to get through. Quick 4 points, and then they call off the jam.
All right, fast jams going up here. In blue, 171. Hello, Hitty. Jammer for Denver, and well, Chameleon, captain for Wasatch, back out there as jammer. So you got 2 teams full of blockers out there now. Following some good offense is Hello Hitty, and that'll propel them forward to get lead. Chameleon is through the pack now, just as Hello Hitty is coming into their scoring run. Opting for the inside, big wide lane. Gets through, calls it off. All 4 points, I believe. Yes, all 4 points for Denver before calling that off. Right now we have a 12-3 game. Nice defense and offense being played there by Denver to really help out their jammer on that one.
Yeah, the blockers play a huge role because they have to switch between offense and defense sometimes, and you can see what a big difference that makes. They can clear a hole for the jammer to get through. So here we got Mullet jamming up against Catatomic Bomb. And Mullet tries to shove through the center of their blockers. Still stuck. Bomb's going back and forth, trying to get past the Wasatch wall. Little jukey footwork. Shoved out of bounds in the outside lane. Zen tries to take, or Mullet tries to take the outside lane also. Still trapped behind a tenacious wall of Denver blockers. And Mullet found a way through on the inside lane. Mullet's going to be the lead jammer. Bomb is still held up behind the wall of Wasatch. Here comes Mullet to the back of the pack, looking to score some points. Pushing around, fancy footwork to get past the last pivot there. And we've got Mullet, 4 points for Wasatch. Catatomic Bomb stepped out on the inside. And it looks like we've got a pivot for Denver headed to the penalty box. Mullet tries to take flight and ended up in the middle of no man's land, so it's back to the back of the pack. Trying again. Tiptoes out of bounds. Bomb is trying to push against these 4 humans to get through. Can't find a spot to get through yet. And now Bomb's made it through. On a scoring pass now. Mullet crashed through and is called off the jam. big 8-point jam for Wasatch there, closing the lead to just 1 point.
A lot of exciting jams here, right here in our first game. The second day of Bonneville beatdown. Darth Skater out there in blue going up against Zen once again for Wasatch. Wasatch lined up in a 4-wall right up at, oh, looks like we have a whistle. Official timeout. A lot of fast and quick action going on here, so this gives a little bit of a breather time for both teams. See if they're going to change some strategy going on now. Well, they got this time to talk things over before the next jam. Rolling whistle, we're back at it. Darth Skater, still jammer for Wasatch. And it looks like the jammer for Wasatch is starting into the box. So it's Denver with a power jam. Darth Skater knocked off onto the inside by Chameleon, who's playing pivot right now. Crimson and Bad Cop out there for Wasatch, holding back Darth Skater. But Darth Skater is through and does have lead. Coming around on their scoring run now. Weaving their way through, trying to get by. Zen rockets off the bench. Or no, that is a Mullet rather. No, Mullet is being brought back, takes the helmet cover off, but no, they are given a penalty. So they are back into the box. So big advantage here for Denver. Denver with one to beat and does. Tall order out there for their, it's like Bupiter.
Just
one of the Denver, or one of the Wasatch blockers being held back. And that is called off. So looks like they called that off. Looks like we're going to have a power start here. So good strategy on that call off, scoring 16 points and having a power start advantage.
And Wasatch is calling a team timeout.
You might want some time to regroup after that. That was a big jump by Denver, taking advantage of that power jam opportunity.
Yeah, it's going to be a sizable advantage start for Denver with 2 Wasatch players in the penalty box when this jam gets going, and the full complement of 5 for Denver on the track.
Well, we have about 20 seconds left in our team timeout. I'd like to thank our sponsors, the Pie Pizzeria, 187 Killer Pads, the Derby Warehouse, and Dick's Sporting Goods.
That rolling whistle means timeout is over and back to the game. Jasmanian Devil is going to be the lone jammer on the track for now. Slipping around the outside lane, dashes to the inside lane, cuts through the defenders. So Devil is going to be the lead jammer. One of those Wasatch blockers has returned. And Mullet has returned also, so Wasatch has all 5 on the track once again. And Jasmanian Devil trying to dance around those Wasatch defenders that keep reforming in front. Mullet's having a heck of a time getting past Denver's wall back there. They've got the pack spread pretty thin. Jasmanian Devil made it through for 4 points, and Mullet still held up in traffic, but we've got a star pass. Chameleon's going to be the new jammer for Wasatch, and flying around the turns, forcing Denver to call off the jam. But 8 points for Denver in that last jam.
All right, Zen out there for Wasatch, going up against number 10, Sid Vicious of Denver. Penalty box is clear. It's like Wasatch lining up right at that jammer line. Number 11 is pivot for Denver. Lining up right there. Some quick moves, trying to open things up for their respective jammers, but both jammers caught up momentarily right now behind that pivot line. Denver out in front, though. Takes a hit, keeps on moving as Sid Vicious for lead. Good hit to the outside by number 44 of Denver to knock Zen out. That was Mars Bars with a nice hit. 4 points for Denver. Sid Vicious coming around again.
Got one Wasatch blocker in the box.
Yeah, Painbow doing some good job as pivot up there for Denver. Now we have a star pass to Crimson Slayer. Sid Vicious on another run. Looking for some space, finding it. One more to beat. Round turn number 2 gets through. 4 more. Denver holding Wasatch scoreless here in these last few jams after, we were at a 1-point game here for a little bit, but Denver really pulling ahead here. Sid Vicious trying to get another 4 and does. Crimson Slayer stuck behind turn number 2, looking for some space to get on through. Sid Vicious, another big scoring run. Already 16 on the board. 4 more, that is 20 for Denver. Time left on the clock still for this jam.
Big hits by Denver. Diablo took the jammer out for Wasatch, out of bounds.
Wasatch trying to regroup here as Sid Vicious is on a tear. 24 points, seconds left. They may have gotten a few more before time. Yes, 2 more before time ran out. 26 points.
Wow, big
Sid
jam.
Vicious. Living up to that last name there.
Wow, that's huge. So lining up at the jam line, we've got Hello Hitty for Denver and Roll Arena for Wasatch. They take running start. Hitty found an opening on the inside lane, takes it as lead jammer. Reina gets recycled back and slams up against the wall of Denver. There she found an outside lane opening, so she's tearing through now. Hello Hitty right behind her. Pack is on the move. They're moving fast. Reina's going to have to skate pretty fast to catch up and force a call off here. And Hello Hitty is squaring up, smash through the blockers. Got a whistle on the track. 2 points for Denver.
All right, Chameleon back out there for Wasatch. And we have, make sure I get the name right here. Track Mamba. Couldn't see the first part of the name. I had to make sure that was right. Track Mamba versus Chameleon.
Interesting. Pivot's leading the way for Mamba there.
Track Mamba has lead. Painbow as pivot has been doing some damage up there, both offensively and defensively for Denver. But through is Chameleon. Hard to take off their feet. And that is going to force a call off. Denver, though, still managing to keep Wasatch scoreless in these last few jams as we are approaching the halfway point of our first half.
Denver doing a great job controlling the clock here when they've got lead jam power. So Mullet's going to be jamming against Atomic Bomb. There's the whistle. Bomb bounces off a couple defenders and takes the lead jam. Mullet comes in with a running start. Try to smash his way through. Didn't quite make it yet. Bomb, little juke move. Mullet's headed to the penalty box. So we got power jam here. And let's see if Wasatch is going to be able to put the brakes on Denver. Bomb is held up there in traffic. Defenders doing a great job keeping them back, but Bomb found an opening in the outside lane, so 4 points for Denver and coming around to scoop up some more. And smashes through the wall. Bomb just act like they were nothing, but they managed to get Bomb out of bounds. And Mullet is back from penalty land, but is recycled back. We've got star pass for Wasatch. Bad Cop is the new jammer and does their job forcing the call off there to end the jam.
That was about as perfect as a star pass as you could hope for. That was clean.
That was slick, yes.
Yeah. All right, we have an official timeout being called right now.
Folks, if you like roller derby, you should come back next weekend. No, I'm sorry, in 2 weeks. We've got the home team opening game for BSR, one of the local teams, Beehive Skate Revolution. And that same weekend, our juniors are going to be in a tournament in Fontana. Best of luck to the juniors as they travel in a couple weeks.
All right, we are back underway. Phoenix taking the Jam Star for the first time for Denver. They are going up against Zen.
One
Taken
blocker
to the
apiece in
outside
penalty
track
box.
is Phoenix. Knocked down. Nice hit by number 24. That is,
Cottonmouth, good
or,
hit.
sorry. Jupiter, rather. Oh, there's a 0. Okay, I see. There's a 024, which is Zen, and a number 24, which is Jupiter. As Jupiter with the hit. But Phoenix is out as the lead jammer.
Zen almost made it through the inside.
4 points for Denver now. Zen trying to work their way through turn number 1. Nice hop over by Phoenix for 4 points.
Got a penalty
And
called on
Wasatch defender goes to the bench. Go to the penalty box, rather. Now Phoenix is on another run. Calls that one off. Denver's defense playing a tough game here. Right now, our score being 88-11.
So Darth Skater's going to be jamming for Denver. Going up against Roller Reyna for Wasatch. And Reyna tiptoeing along the outside line, but Darth Skater slipped through the inside there and is the lead jammer. Few defenders hitting the deck, and they pop right back up. Reyna is headed to the penalty box. Didn't see the call, but we got power jam. So Darth Skater coming in for another score. Nice juke move to get past the pivot there. 4 points for Denver. And Reyna is back from penalty land, hustling those feet, trying to get through. And Denver calls off the jam. So still holding Wasatch scoreless. 4 more points for Denver, pushing that lead up a little bit more every jam.
All right, Jasmanian Devil out there for Denver going up against Chameleon, captain of Wasatch. Penalty box is clear So looking for some hard-hitting action right away. Some juking by Denver gets them through for a lead. Now on the scoring run is Denver, putting down a shoulder to get through the pack. 4 points. Chameleon finds their way on through the pack. That is going to force a call off.
And queuing up all 5 players for each team. Mullet's going to be jamming for Wasatch. And Sid Vicious up there for Denver. And looks like the defenders are going to give our jammers a little bit of runway here. Let's see what happens with it. Vicious goes to the outside. Mullet gets tracked behind the wall of Denver. Good block there. And Sid Vicious found their way through. Will take lead jammer. Mullet's trying to push hard against those defenders to get through. They're doing a heck of a time keeping him back. Sid Vicious with a sweet juke to get past the defenders. 4 quick points there for Denver. And Denver's going to call it off before anything else can happen.
Yeah, that freezes 2 defenders of Wasatch into the box. So this is going to be a 2-on-1 for Hello Hitty of Denver. Meanwhile, Roller Arena has all 4 of Denver blockers to deal with. Roller Arena with a big start, trying to crush in through there. Hello Hitty weaves their way through and gets lead. Oh, no, not lead. Perhaps there's a no pass, no penalty on that. Hello Hitty weaving their way through again. Now they have 4. So no lead assessed in this jam. Roller Arena still trying to fight their way on the inside. Through 4 more is Denver's Hello Hitty. And we do have a track cut, sending, looks like another, perhaps a Wasatch, Wasatch jammer to the box. So now we have a huge chance for Denver. Wasatch tripod really swallows up Hello Hitty there at turn number 1, slowing down that momentum. Meanwhile, Crimson is going to go to the box for Wasatch. However, Hello Hitty's momentum has been stopped. Now some good offense there by Painbow. That frees up Denver. They are through for 4. Roller Arena back out on the track, trying to muscle their way through Denver's line. Hello Hitty on the inside. 1 more to beat. Does. 4 more points. Roller Arena being brought back, so around turn number 1. Penalty box is clear. Hello Hitty has a tripod to deal with now. Getting some offensive help from Painbow, but that jam is called off. But that is 20 points, 20 more points, 21 points for Denver.
Team timeout called by Denver. So quick minute breather for these teams.
If you want to help us keep roller derby going on here at Salt Lake, we are losing this building, so we will need to find a new home. We will be having our last games here at the Derby Depot in June. So if any locals here have some leads on some space, please contact your local league board, and hopefully we can keep roller derby in Salt Lake City going without any breaks in the action.
All righty, back to the action. Chameleon is going to be jamming against Track Mamba. And Chameleon recycled back. Mamba finds an opening, smashing through the last defender on the inside. So coming around on a scoring pass. Chameleon going to the outside, gets tripped up on their way there and recycled back here. No, Chameleon going to the penalty box. So we've got a lead jam, or a power jam here for the next 30 seconds. And Mamba is going to call that off. Very strategic move. That's going to give Denver an advantage on the next jam with no opposing jammer for a good while. Less than 30 seconds, but more than 10.
Denver making strategic use of those penalties to their advantage, both with controlling the clock and controlling the next jam. So good offense right off the bat, and that brings Catatonic Bomb for lead. So Wasatch should get together here to try to stop that momentum. Tall order, but see if they can do it. Step over by Catatonic gets them free 4-4. Chameleon roaring out, jumps over, gets 3 of the pack. That is going to force a call off.
About 5 minutes left on the game time for the first half. And we're going to be starting off with one Denver blocker in the penalty box. Mullet jamming against Phoenix. A lot of runway there between them and the blockers. Let's see what happens. Mullet crashes against the wall. Nice spin move. Mullet's going to be the lead jammer. Look out, here comes Phoenix. Great footwork there to get past. And looks like Phoenix is headed to the penalty box. So, power jam. Mullets flies past the last defender and calls off the jam, which is going to give Wasatch a big advantage here in this next jam, starting with no opposing jammer.
Yeah, Zen's out there for Wasatch. 4 points split up on the board that last jam, so really gonna hope for getting lead here and be able to put some more points on the board for Wasatch. Both teams opting to start right up at that pivot line. Zen is stopped by a good, solid tripod of Denver. Now going to get some offensive help up there by number 32, Acid Rain. Lead is still open, though. Phoenix of Denver's back out on the track, skips on through for lead. Comes right off the bench to take lead.
Two Wasatch blockers going to the penalty box.
And staying on the inside is Phoenix for 4 points. Zen being brought way back by Painbow. Phoenix calls that one off.
Quick jams there, 4 more points for Denver. 3 minutes left on the game clock. We're going to see Chameleon jamming against Darth Skater. And the defenders are starting right up there next to the line. Darth Skater found an opening on the inside lane. It's going to be the lead jammer. Chameleon getting shoved around back here at the start line. Pushing hard, trying to get through. Tiptoes, back and forth lateral movement. Can't quite get it. Did make an opening for Darth Skater to get through, though. And Chameleon pushing hard to get past that last defender. Didn't quite make it So the penalty box is empty, and it's Darth Skater calls off the jam. 2 minutes left and change.
All right, Mullet out there against Jasmanian Devil. Both teams kind of figuring out their defensive strategy. Right now, everyone lined up at the pivot line. It's like they stay up there. So, giving some room for both these jammers. Let's see what they do. Nice step over by Mullet. I don't know who's got lead right now. It is Mullet. But Jasmanian Devil is out in front. But control is to Mullet. Let's see what they decide to do. Both teams racing around the track.
Pack is moving fast.
Jasmanian using some blockers to their advantage to get through first. Mullet, though, still trying to find their way through Denver as Jasmanian gets through for 4.
Nice side swipe by
Mullet
Painbow.
putting up some points, not through the pack yet. Calling that one off is Mullet. 2 points for Wasatch. And we are in our final minute of our first half. Perhaps the last jam of our first half.
Zinn lining up to jam for Wasatch, and Sid Vicious representing Denver. And right into the fray they go. Sid trying to push through there in the middle, goes to the outside lane, past the pivot, and Sid Vicious, is the lead jammer. Zinn muscling through, almost got it, but knocked out of bounds by the pivot on Denver. So put a stop to Zinn there, but there goes Sid Vicious, ducking through those defenders for 4 more points. Zinn getting a little help from the defenders, and we've got jam call off. That is going to be the end of our first half.
All right, be sure to visit the concession stand. Definitely buy some Bonneville Beatdown merch that's hanging out there.
And we'll be back here in 15 minutes for more action. Stay with us. All right. That sound means it is back to Derby action. So here we are with Chameleon jamming for Wasatch. Hello Hitty for Denver. Hello Hitty pulls out in front as the lead jammer. And coming around here to the back of the pack. Fancy footwork by Chameleon gets through the pack and is on a scoring pass now. And Hello Hitty is... No, I'm sorry, Chameleon's headed to the penalty box. So Hitty is going to be coming up against the pack here. Smashes through the inside. Held up a little bit by those last couple blockers, but made it past. So 4 points there for Denver. And bit of pivot action there as Hitty's coming around casual-like to engage the pack. And defender's making a bit of a hole there. Hitty slips out of bounds there and is going to get recycled back a bit. And here comes Chameleon for Wasatch, slamming into the defenders for Denver. They've got a good hold on Chameleon. Shoves Chameleon to the inside lane, the inside space, out of bounds. And got the end of the jam called off there. Looks like 12 points for Denver. Strong start there for Denver in this second half of play.
All right, chat number 2 of the second half. It is Catatonic Bomb of Denver going up against Mullet of Wasatch. Got defenders spread out all across the track here. Both jammers trying to find their way through. It is Catatonic Bomb out first. Mullet off to the inside, but Denver is right there to cut off that avenue. Catatonic Bomb on their scoring run. Hard hit by Painbow takes out Mullet. Four points on the board for Denver. Another scoring pass coming around. Weaving right through for 4 more is Catatonic Bomb. Mullet trying to fight their way past a couple of defenders, but their blockers are right there in front of their way to cut them off. Meanwhile, more points being scored up by Denver. Catatonic Bomb coming around the track again. On to the outside is Catatonic Bomb. It takes a hit and gets on through. Decides to call that one off after putting up 16 points.
And the penalty box is empty, so everyone who can be on the track is on the track. Zen's going to jam for Wasatch, and wearing the star for Denver is Sid Vicious. Defenders settle down against the jammers, and off they go. Sid Vicious takes the outside lane and is the lead jammer. Zen trying to fight through traffic there, but that Denver wall is hard to get past. Meanwhile, Sid Vicious coming in for a scoring pass. Slips around the cracks in the Wasatch defenders for 4 points. And coming around again, nice spin move by Zen. Stays on their feet, knocked again by number 11 defender for Denver. And Sid Vicious is going to call off the jam.
Yeah, hard hit there.
Hard hit there, Zen.
All right, Roll Arena out there for Wasatch going up against Track Mamba. Officials discussing something at that last one, maybe seeing what the call was at the, if there was a penalty at the end of that last play or not.
Looks like a penalty's been assessed to Zen.
Looks like now there's right now it is an official timeout, but there may be an official review coming. We'll see. So will very likely depend on what the officials decide here. And we do have an official review being called for Wasatch.
So, official review, I imagine a lot of you know what this is, but for folks who don't, each team has one opportunity per half to challenge something called by the officials or something they think the officials may have missed. So, the coach or captain will make their case to the officials, and then the officials will discuss and decide what the outcome is. So, right now, we do not know, but when we know, we will let y'all know what the outcome is.
All right, there will be more Wasatch Juniors action later on this month over through the weekend of the 28th and the 29th in Fontana. There'll be another tournament there. So a whole lot of roller derby for this Wasatch Juniors roller derby team. Meanwhile, over that same weekend here in Salt Lake, our Beehive Skate Revolution will be putting on a home team game. So again, that'll be March 28th.
Quick thank you to our sponsors, the Pie Pizzeria, 187 Killer Pads, Derby Warehouse, and Dick's Sporting Goods, helping make roller derby possible for the juniors and other leagues in Salt Lake. And thank you, folks, for coming out to support these young athletes this morning. I understand some of you have traveled, and thanks for coming and making it a good game for everyone. All right, we've got a verdict on the official review. Wasatch coach was looking for a penalty to be assessed against a Denver player, and the officials have agreed with that. So Wasatch will retain their review. That means they can use it again later if they desire, and whatever that penalty was has been assessed. So we've got a Denver blocker in the penalty box here at the start of the jam.
All right, Track Mamba and Roller Reina smashing into respective opposing tripods. Lead still open. A lot of movement from both these jammers trying to fight for that lead position. Track Mamba out first. Roller Reina recycled back, having another crack at it. On that scoring run now, though, is Track Mamba. Nice hit out by Wasatch. I believe that might have been Bad Cop there with a hit out onto the inside. Roller Reina on through the pack. Track Mamba gets their 4 points and calls that one off.
So we starting off with an empty penalty bench. Jamming for Denver is Jasmanian Devil, and Fast Phantom jamming for Wasatch. First time today with the star on, and off they go. Phantom got a bit of a running start to smash into the Denver defenders. Jasmanian Devil is the lead jammer, and just like that, they are back around to the pack to score some points. Devil going side to side, now pushing through the tripod of Wasatch defenders. Great job defense, shoving them out of bounds. Fast Phantom still stuck behind that tripod of Denver, though. Tough to get past. And Jasmanian Devil did find a way through for 4 more points. We've got a penalty assessed to Wasatch blocker. Meanwhile, Jasmanian Devil slips through the inside lane for 4 more points and calls the jam off. And Denver
right,
holding Wasatch pointless, or scoreless, excuse me.
Denver's put Phoenix out there up against the mullet of Wasatch. It's like some penalty trouble for Wasatch. 2 of their defenders sitting in the box. All 4 defenders out there for Denver. Both jammers take to the inside track. Both stay in. Phoenix with the lead, but hot on their feet is Mullet. Racing around the track now is everyone. And that is going to force a call off. Very quick jam there, but yeah, it was that's a lot of speed being shown in just a few seconds.
You can feel that wind whip around when they get going. All righty, Roll Arena going up against Darth Skater at the jam line. And the defenders are going to give a little space to the jammers. And Darth Skater tiptoeing through the inside and takes the lead jam. Reina ducking around, using those defenders as cover, try to get past the wall. Still held up in traffic. Darth Skater found an opening in the outside lane this time and makes it look so easy. Casual skating. Reina is forcing against that tripod, trying to get past. Down to a couple defenders left. Got one pivot headed to the penalty box for Denver, and Darth Skater calls the end of that jam. And Denver up over 200 points now. 202 to 17 for Wasatch.
All right, Fast Phantom out there for Wasatch up against Catatonic Bomb. It's like right now it's Wasatch with the blocker advantage. Only 2 blockers out there for Denver. So the whole tripod, taken out is Fast Phantom, but they're right back on the track. And it is Catatonic out first. Fast Phantom, though, out of the pack. Catatonic with the lead. Coming around on a scoring run now. Past 1. Crimson Slayer right there to help their momentum, but they're past 2. Fast Phantom now on scoring run. Let's see. Yes, it's 2 for Wasatch, 3 for Denver.
Denver doing very strategic thing with the pack there, forcing the momentum with their blockers out in front to lead because the rest of the pack has to keep up. All right, Chameleon going up against Sid Vicious. Sid Vicious with quick feet finds their way through the inside as lead jammer. And Chameleon covered up in blockers, trying to find breathing room out there. Flying Sid Vicious over the apex there. Nothing too fancy, just fancy enough to get past. And quickly they are back around to the back of the pack. Looks like we've had a cap star handoff there for Wasatch. So Chemical X is the new jammer, and they've forced Denver to call off the jam. Looking at 8 points on that last jam for Denver.
All right, Mullet out there for Wasatch up against Crack Mamba of Denver. Penalty box is clear, so 4 on 4 are the blockers. Looks like right now both teams are opting for a 2-on-2 with their defense. Perhaps Wasatch switching to a tripod here quickly. Quickly on through is Mullet. Nice spin move. Absorbing a hit, coming right on out.
Flying Mullet.
And scoring 4. To beat up in front. Oh no, there is going to be a penalty. I did not see what the motion was for the penalty, but Mullet is going to the box.
And we've got an injury on the track, folks. And Crimson Slayer over to the medics corner. Leaving on their own skates, so that is always a good sign. Alrighty, thanks for bearing with us there, folks. Everything's all ship-shape. Back to the action. So we're going to have Phoenix jamming for Denver. Wasatch jammer is in the penalty box at the moment. Phoenix takes to the inside, but steps out in the middle, and it's going to be recycled back by a bad cop. So another attempt here by Phoenix. Trying to sidestep, little tiptoe action there. Pushes past that last defender. Phoenix gets the lead jam status and whipping around here to the back of the pack. And off they go. Inside lane, held up by Wasatch. And Wasatch jammer is back in action. Mullet back on the track. And Wasatch Wall doing a great job keeping Phoenix at bay. So both jammers straining hard against those defenders. Really putting those quads to the test for these young folks. And Phoenix shoved it out of bounds by Chameleon. But right back at it, pushing hard against the tripods. Mullet looking for an opening. Slowly pushing these defenders forward. And Phoenix also blocked up. A little help from the pivot there. And Wasatch defenders reform quickly. And still pinning Phoenix back. Mullet sidesteps around to the defenders for Denver. Down to the pivot. The Denver wall reforms around in front of Mullet. Mullet pushing hard and shoved out in the inside of the track. So recycled way back before the jam line. Phoenix still shoving hard against these defenders. Little O help from number 31 on Denver, and looks like that did it. Found an opening. Phoenix has made it through now. And that is the end of the jam.
That was our first 2-minute jam of this game.
Very physical jam, that one.
Really good defensive effort by both teams there. Now Darth Skater is out for Denver, up against Roller Arena of Wasatch. Penalty box is clear. And we are right back into it. Both jammers off to the inside. Darth Skater out first. Roller Arena trying to crash through two Denver blockers. And there's going to be a track cut assessed against Roller Arena. That'll allow a power jam to Darth Skater as they have just gotten 4 points. So potentially big jam here by Denver. One more to beat as does Darth Skater. They get through. Looks like Denver setting up a screen on the inside. It is successful for 4 more points. Right now on a 12-0 run is Denver. Our skater, very jukey, very weavy, hard to stop and get through. They keep that momentum going. They get 4 more points and call that one off just as Roller Arena got off the track, got back onto the track. And we are into jam number 13 coming up here. We are over halfway done with our second half of the game.
Fast Phantom wearing the cap for Wasatch. And Hello Hitty for Denver. And off they go. Hello Hitty trying to find room behind their pivot. Didn't quite make it. There to the outside. There's Hello Hitty. So Hitty's going to be the lead jammer. Fast Phantom going side to side trying to find an opening to get past, but number 44 and 23 putting on the squeeze there. Bad Cop comes in to lend a hand or a hip, as the case may be. Hello Hitty coming in and casually going to the inside. Nudged out of bounds a little bit. Doesn't stop, doesn't phase them. Hello Hitty takes it past the last defender from Wasatch for 4 more points. And they are going to call the end of the jam. 8
Yeah.
points scored there for Denver.
Yeah, Denver doing a very good job of strategically controlling the scoreboard and the clock, and doing that all throughout the game here. Looks like we
Wasatch-
have a power start opportunity here for Denver, as
Jammer and
Jasmanian
pivot
Devil
in the
is out
box.
there. They are through for lead. Not going to be gaining a scoring run. Chameleon and Wasatch back out on the track, trying to help things out defensively. Jasmanian Devil right on through. Nice hit. That is number 32 of Wasatch, Acid Rain. And now Fast Phantom back out on the track for Wasatch, trying to crash through the Denver line. And that jam is called off. We got a total of 8 points for Denver.
And a familiar pairing here, Zen against Sid Vicious. As the defenders take their places, there's the whistle. And starting with Pack on the move a little bit here. And a couple bodies hit the floor. Sid Vicious finds their way through as lead jammer, and it looks like Zen is headed to the penalty box for Wasatch. So power jam for half a minute in favor of Denver. Nice footwork by Sid Vicious. They get past the last defender for 4 more points. And those Denver blockers actively pushing against Wasatch to make openings for their jammer to get through. 4 more points goes for Denver. And Wasatch wall forms up. Little shoulder tap there from Belladonna. And they did manage to slow down Sid Vicious a little bit, but found an opening on the inside. Zen's back in the action for Wasatch, and Sid Vicious calls an end to the jam there before Zen can even get out of the pack. So big 12 points for Denver out of that one.
All right, Acid Rain taking the jammer star for Wasatch, going up against Track Mamba. And we are underway. Mamba to the inside, Acid Rain to the outside. Now both jammers trying to weave their way through the blockers. Track Mamba is through as there's a difficult tripod for Acid Rain trying to push their way through. Track Mamba on the scoring run. Weaves by 1. Acid Rain is through the pack. Just as 4 points is scored by Track Mamba, and they're going to call that one off.
So under 10 minutes left of the game, and we've got, looks like an empty penalty box, so full 5 against 5 on the track. Roll Arena jamming for Wasatch, going against Catatomic Bomb for Denver. And we've got a little breathing room for the jammers at the start, and they smash into the walls now. Reina and Bomb trying to take the same route, it looks like. Reina almost found a way past, but defenders regroup around her, and Reina is through. Lead almost, caught by Denver pivot. Quick footwork by Denver to call that one off, or to stop the momentum there. Catatomic Bomb is struggling to get past the wall of Wasatch. Found an opening on the inside and made it through, so they are through. It's like Roller Reina was assessed lead jammer, but she is still trying to get past. And that, she's going to call off the jam. See if Denver got points out of that one.
All right, Fast Phantom back out there up against Phoenix. It's like one blocker in the box for Denver. Wasatch surrounding the Denver defenders. Fast Phantom trying to shove their way. That they get her stuck in a tripod now. But Phoenix shoving their way through, putting a shoulder down, trying to bust up the Wasatch defenders up on past the pivot line now. And they get lead, does Phoenix. Fast Phantom looking for some offensive help. Brought down by number 31 of Denver, Trick or Treater. On the scoring run now is Phoenix. And now both jammers caught up, but finding some space on the inside does Phoenix for 4 points. Fast Phantom on through, sneaks on through that inside opening. And now Phoenix on another scoring run. Goes to the ground, calls that one off. 2 points being scored there before they do so. 6-0 run for Denver.
And great work by Denver controlling the clock there when they have lead jammer status. Here at the jam line, we've got Darth Skater going up against Acid Rain. And the defenders ease on back towards them, but Darth Skater found an opening on the inside lane, whizzing past as Acid Rain bounces off the back of Denver defender. Stays upright though. Great footwork there. Fancy spin move by Darth Skater, but got caught up and sent to the inside. And Acid Rain has made it through, so they are on a scoring run. Darth Skater gets shoved to the inside again and calls off the jam before Acid Rain can get any points out of it. So 3 quick points for Denver.
All right, we are at 6 minutes left in our game. Jasmanian Devil up against Roller Arena. It's like some Denver blockers on the box, so good opportunity for Roller Arena. 2-on-1, or 3-on-1 opportunity rather. Denver does have very good tripods, though, so might be some work cut out for them. Jasmanian Devil onto the inside, shoving, trying to find some space. But does find it on the inside, gets on through for the lead. Roller Arena out of the pack. On the scoring run is Jasmanian Devil. Using some good offensive help, but using her... Yeah. It's a good way to use their own teammates as battering rams. It gets 4 points and calls it off.
All righty. Fast Phantom wearing the star for Wasatch and going against Sid Vicious of Denver. There's the whistle. Off they go. They got a little bit of space. Caught up to the pack now, and both jammers trying to find an opening through. Vicious dodging to the inside, fake to the outside. Caught up by Wasatch defenders. Pushing hard against that last one, and didn't. Oh, looks like they were assessed lead jammer. Didn't quite make it all the way through, though. Fast Phantom is trying to get past the pack here. Little running start. And there goes Sid Vicious sweeping through like wind through the cracks, but Wasatch reformed, and now they've got a good solid tripod. Little dodge move there. Sid Vicious got around him. So 4 points for Denver there. Chameleon wearing the star for Wasatch now. And strong hit by Bad Cop, but looks like Vicious stay upright, so another 4 points, and Denver will call off the end of the jam. So 8-0 out of that jam.
Acid Rain back out for Wasatch up against Track Mamba. We're going to have a team timeout called by Wasatch, though. That'll give them a minute to talk things out. We still have 3 minutes, 34 seconds left on the clock of this game. Right now, our score is standing at 291 to 19. Denver with the lead. Looks like both teams talking about things amongst themselves, so that's interesting to see in a team timeout situation. All right, 10 more seconds. We'll be back underway into Derby action here. Rolling whistle, and we are going to get underway in just a few seconds. Acid rain for Wasatch up against Track Mamba for Denver. Both teams starting up right at that pivot line. Penalty box is empty. With a head start or big momentum lead are both jammers, but it is Track Mamba out first, finding some daylight on that inside around turn number 1. Acid rain, one more to beat, but no, doesn't make it. And we are going to call this one off.
And got an injury on the track, so bring the volume down a bit, let the medics do their job.
All right, back up on their feet and getting off the track under their own power. A little assistance, but mostly under their own power. So that is good to see. We just have just over 3 minutes left in this game.
And Mullet jamming against Phoenix, trying to get through. Phoenix found an opening there past the pivot, so Phoenix will be a lead jammer. Mullet trying hard to get past. Bad Cop comes in for a little assist. Side swipe, clean hit there by number 11 on Denver. Bullet has found their way to their feet and is going on a scoring run now. Phoenix is going to call off the jam, though. Doesn't give Mullet a chance to get any points out of that.
All right, Feline Feisty with the jam star for the first time for Wasatch, going up against Catatomic Bomb. Denver calling a team timeout now, so that'll be another minute for these teams to talk things over with their respective coaches and captains and teammates on the track. It looks like we have a jammer switch. It's going to be Painbow of Denver taking the jam. So 2 new jammers here right towards the final minutes of the game. Painbow's been killing it as a pivot out there all game long. So let's see what they can do as a jammer. What kind of damage, if they can do the same kind of damage offensively as they do defensively. Feline Feisty ready to go out there, and we are about to get underway. Both jammers quick to the outside briefly, now pushing up the middle. Got respect. And it is Painbow out first. Feline Feisty being held back by Track Mamba. But on the outside is Feline Feisty on through the pack. Painbow now on the scoring run. Getting knocked out by Chameleon. No, staying in bounds is Painbow. Great work keeping those skates in bounds. Oh, little friendly fire there between Darth Skater and Painbow. But everyone's okay and they're back up. 4 points for Denver. Feline Feisty up against a tough tripod of Denver's right around. And we have a star pass to Chameleon. Chameleon on through. Meanwhile, Painbow scores 4 more. We have 11 points on the board for Denver and 3 points for Wasatch. So putting out a couple new jammers worked out pretty well for both these teams.
And Mullet lined up here going against Hello Hitty. And off they go. Hello Hitty to the inside, Mullet to the outside. Both of them make it through, but Hello Hitty's in the lead with lead jammer. Look out, here comes Mullet. Those long legs pushing him quickly around the track. Hello Hitty slams into the wall of Wasatch and is going to call off the jam while Mullet is trying desperately to get some points. Looks like 1 point out of that for Mullet, 1 for Denver.
All right, let's see if we get one more jam here. Looks like there is just enough time on the clock. Well, I think someone may need to call a timeout.
Yep.
Sid Vicious out there against Fast Phantom. We are underway. No, period clock is all done now. Able to just get off one more jam. Sid Vicious had the biggest run of the game. I think it was like 26 points in the first half. Highest scoring jam of the game. They're out there to finish things off for Denver. They're on through for 4. Fast Phantom out of the pack. We have a whistle on there, a back block call. That'll be a power jam for Wasatch. Wasatch can finish things off strong here. Still 1:10 left in the game. Getting some assistance by Chameleon as Fast Phantom. Denver, though. Denver defenders very quick to regroup. Fast Phantom already past 2, past 1 more to beat, and does. 4 points, Fast Phantom. 50 seconds left in the game. Come on, make a lot of noise here for both these teams. Coming down right to the very end of the jam. Sid Vicious back out on the track. Both jammers now fighting for the last few points in the last few seconds. Sid Vicious on through. Fast being recycled. Sid Vicious being caught up by Chameleon. Nice hit by Painbow to free Sid Vicious. And we have, no, not star pass was not completed. Denver to Denver. Then there we have our star pass. That is Mullet now, but that time has run out. Please stay off the track. I know you were eager to congratulate both these teams and wait until that rolling whistle where we have our official score. And then definitely come out to give both of these teams a big cheer and round of applause and give some high fives. This was a very tough game. All right, rolling whistle, and please come out and congratulate both these teams for a great opening game of our day 2 of the Bonneville beatdown.
And final score, 324 for Denver and 30 for Wasatch. Congratulations to these young athletes for putting up a heck of a game here on the second day of the tournament. I think both these teams did play yesterday.